If you've been working out for months and your knees feel worse, not better, you're probably making one of 5 mistakes. And the scary part, most of these mistakes don't hurt immediately. They feel fine in the moment. But 6 months later, you're limping around the grocery store wondering what happened. I'm Dr. Ethan Kellum, orthopedic surgeon, sports medicine specialist, and a surgeon who dislikes doing surgery. I've treated thousands of knee injuries over the last 20 years, and I can tell you most of them didn't start with some dramatic moment. They started in the gym with a bad form, ego lifting, and ignoring the signals your body was screaming at you. Today, I'm breaking down the 5 most common gym mistakes that destroy your knees, why they're so damaging, and exactly how to fix them before you end up on the operating room table. Mistake number 3 is the one I see right before someone asks if they need surgery. Here's what you need to know. Before we talk about the mistakes, you need to understand why your knees are so vulnerable in the gym in the first place. Your knee is a hinge joint. It bends and it straightens. That's pretty much it. It's not designed to twist under heavy load. It's not designed to wobble side to side while you're squatting 200 pounds. But that's exactly what happens when people get into the gym and they start chasing numbers on Instagram. Here's the problem. Your muscles adapt fast, like really fast. After a few weeks of training, you feel stronger. You can lift more weight. You're hitting personal records. But your tendons and ligaments, they're still playing catch up. It's like your muscles are flash and your tendons are still trying to figure out how to tie their shoes. So you end up in this dangerous window where you're strong enough to move heavy weight, but your connective tissue isn't ready to support it. And that's when injuries happen. I've scoped the knees of 25-year-olds who've been lifting for 2 years and their ACLs look like the charging cables you keep using even though it's held together with electric tape. Not from one bad rep, from hundreds of bad reps that added up over time. So if your knees hurt during or after the gym, that's not a badge of honor. That's your body sending you a very clear message, and it's not a casual text. It's more like your mom calling 3 times in a row, something's wrong. Pay attention. Let's talk about the 5 mistakes that cause this. Mistake number 1 is letting your knees cave inward during squats or lunges. This is called valgus collapse, and it's one of the fastest ways to damage your knee. I see this constantly. Someone loads up the squat rack, they drop down, their knees buckle inward like they're trying to do the Charleston, and they keep going, set after set, week after week. And here's what's happening inside the joint when you do this. When your knees cave in, you're putting rotational stress on your ACL and your meniscus. Now, your ACL is designed to prevent the shin bone from sliding forward. That's its job. It's not designed to handle twisting forces at the same time. But when your knees collapse inward, you're forcing it to do both. Over time, this creates micro tears in that ligament. And if you keep training through it, the micro tears add up until something gives. You know, that one phone charger you keep using, even though it's half dead, the one that only works if you hold it at a specific angle. When you pull a cable straight, it's fine. That's the normal tension. But when you twist it while pulling, now you're asking it to do 2 things at once. And eventually the wires inside start breaking down. You can see it happening on the outside. The rubber coating phrase, the copper wires poke through. That's exactly what's happening with your ACL when your knees cave inward under load. And just like that charger, you keep using it until one day it just stops working. Then you're stuck ordering a new one on Amazon at 2 a.m. because your phone died. Except with your ACL, you can't just order a new one. Now, why does this happen in the first place? Usually it's because your glutes aren't strong enough to control the movement. When you squat, your glutes are supposed to push your knees outward and keep them aligned over your toes. But if they're weak, your knees collapse inward to compensate. It's like your glutes are supposed to be the security team for your knees, but instead they're clocked out early to watch The Mandalorian. Inside your knee, there's a ligament called the ACL. It's about the width of your pinky finger. It's small, but it's doing a huge job. When your knees cave inward during a squat, you're twisting the ligament while it's under tension. And just like that phone charger, it starts to break down from the inside out. So here's the fix. Start with bodyweight squats and focus on keeping your knees pushed out the entire time. If you can't do that with just your body weight, you're not ready for loaded squats yet. I don't care if the next person next to you is squatting 315. Your knees don't care about that approval rating. Form first, weight second, always. Mistake number 2 is loading up the leg press with more weight than your knees can handle. And I see this all the time. People walk up to the leg press like they're trying to qualify for NASA. They load up 8 plates. They drop down way too deep and their knees are screaming at them the entire time. It's like watching someone trying to park a school bus in a smart car spot. Technically possible, but wildly unsafe. Here's the problem. When you go too deep on the leg press with heavy weight, you're compressing your knee joints beyond its safe range. At the bottom of that movement, your femur is pressing into your tibia with enormous force. This crushes your cartilage and your meniscus. And if you're doing this 2 or 3 times a week, you're creating chronic damage that adds up over months. I had a 32-year-old come into my office last year. Couldn't walk without limping. We did an MRI. His meniscus had multiple tears. I asked him what happened. He said, nothing. I've just been doing leg press. press. Exactly. That's the problem. Now, the leg press isn't a bad exercise, but most people do it wrong. Here's what you need to know. When your knees bend past 90 degrees under heavy load, the stress on that joint increases exponentially. Think of it like this. When you hold your arms straight out with weight in your hands, there's some stress on your elbows. But when you bend your arms to 90 degrees, that stress increases. But when you bend it all the way, bringing your hands up to your shoulders, the stress on that joint is way higher, even though the weight didn't change. Same thing happens with your knees on the leg press. So if you're going to use the leg press, stop before your knees reach your chest. Keep your knees at above 90 degrees. And if you can't control the weight through that range, use less weight. Your ego isn't worth 6 months of physical therapy, I promise you. I've operated on people who've tore their meniscus doing leg press with too much weight. These injuries are completely preventable. And it's not about how much weight you move. It's about moving weight safely. Nobody's keeping score except your joints, and they have a long memory. Mistake number 3, it's ignoring pain and pushing through it. And this is the one that ends careers, not just athletic careers, gym careers. There's a massive difference between discomfort and pain. But for some reason, gym culture treats them like they are the same thing. Discomfort is what you feel when your muscles are burning during the last few reps of a set. That's metabolic fatigue. That's normal. That means you're working. Pain is sharp, it's localized, and it's your body telling you to stop. It's the difference between your muscles saying, hey, this is hard, and your knee saying something is actively wrong right now. And if you ignore that signal, you're forcing an already irritated structure to keep working. I had a college athlete come in a few months ago, Division II basketball player. He'd been feeling a dull ache in his knee for about 6 weeks, but he kept playing. By the time he came to see me, that dull ache had turned into a stress fracture. What could have been fixed with 2 weeks of rest now required 3 months off. And all because he thought pushing through pain was what champions do. Look, I get it. You feel invincible when you push through pain. It's like you're in the Rocky training montage, Eye of the Tiger playing, punching frozen meat. But real life doesn't have a soundtrack. Your knee doesn't care about your motivational playlist. If you feel a sharp pain in your knee during a squat, that's not normal. If your knee hurts every time you do leg extensions, that's not normal. Pain is your nervous system's way of protecting from further damage. It's like your smoke alarm goes off. You just don't take out the batteries and keep cooking. You check the stove. You figure out what's burning. So here's the rule. If something hurts, stop immediately. Not after you finish the set, not after one more rep. Stop. Assess the pain. If it's sharp or it's getting worse, modify the exercise or just skip it entirely for that day. And if it persists for more than a few days, get it checked out. Your ego isn't worth 6 months of rehab. And trust me, rehab is way more boring than you think. It's mostly just stretching and listening to elevator music. Mistake number 4 is skipping single leg exercises. And this one might surprise you, but it's huge. Most people spend all their time doing bilateral movements, squats, deadlifts, leg press. But real life doesn't happen on 2 legs. You walk on 1 leg at a time. You climb stairs on 1 leg at a time. You pivot on 1 leg. And if you never train that way, you're leaving your knees vulnerable. Here's what happens when you only train bilaterally. Your stronger leg compensates for your weaker leg. So if your right leg is stronger than your left, your right leg does more work during the squat. Over time, this creates muscles imbalances that lead to poor movement patterns. And when your movement patterns are off, your knees take a hit. It's like a basketball team where LeBron takes every single shot. Sure, you might score some points, but eventually LeBron's going to get tired and the team falls apart. Same thing with your knees. Single leg exercises forces each leg to work independently. This exposes weaknesses you didn't know you had. It's like finding out autocorrect has been fixing half of your text this entire time. You thought you were good at spelling, and you weren't. Bulgarian split squats, single leg deadlifts, step ups, these movements strengthen your stabilizer muscles and they improve your knee control. And you don't need to go heavy. Start with body weights or light dumbbells. The goal is control, it's not load. This is how you build knees that can handle real life, not just the gym. And trust me, your knees will thank you when you're 60 and you're still moving without pain. Mistake number 5 is skipping the warm-up, specifically for your knees. Most people think a warm-up means 5 minutes on the treadmill while scrolling TikTok. That's not enough. Your knees need specific preparation before you load them with heavy weights. Here's what's happening inside your knee when it's cold. Your muscles are tight. Your nervous system isn't primed for heavy loading. It's like trying to start your car in the middle of the Canadian winter without letting the engine warm up first. Sure, it'll turn on eventually, but you're putting extra stress on everything. When you jump straight into heavy squats or a leg press, your knee isn't ready to handle the demand. Cold joints don't move smoothly. Tight muscles don't contract efficiently. This increases the risk of strains, tears, and joint impingement. But most people skip this because they think it's boring. You know what else is also boring? Sitting in a waiting room for 3 hours to get an MRI. Before you squat or you do any heavy leg work, spend 2 minutes doing banded terminal knee extensions, leg swings, or bodyweight squats. This activates the muscles around your knees and it gets your joint fluid flowing. You're preparing the environment so your knee can tolerate the load without unnecessary irritation. Then, before your first working set, do a few warm-up sets, just with the bar or lightweight. This primes your nervous system and it teaches your body the movement patterns before you add serious load. A good warm-up takes 5 to 10 minutes. That's it. And it can save you months of rehabs, which, trust me, you'd rather avoid. And remember that phone charger from earlier? If your knees are caving during squats, that fraying is happening right now inside your ACL. Don't wait until it stops working to fix it. So here's the bottom line. We just covered 5 major mistakes that destroy your knees in the gym. Letting your knees cave inward during squats, going heavy on leg press and compressing your joints too deep, ignoring pain and pushing through it like a badge of honor, skipping single leg exercises and creating imbalances, and not warming up your knees before you load them. Here's how you fix all of this. Number 1, focus on form first and then weight second. If you can't do an exercise with perfect form using just your body weight, you're not ready for load yet. Number 2, listen to your body. Pain is a signal, not a challenge. If something hurts, stop, modify it. Number 3, add single leg exercises to your program at least once a week. Bulgarian split squats, single leg deadlifts, step ups. Pick 2 and do them consistently. Number 4, warm up your knees specifically before every workout. 5 minutes of dynamic movement, that's all it takes. Do these things and you'll build strong knees that can handle years of training instead of breaking down after a few months. This is what separates people who train their entire lives from people who blow out their knees at 35 and have to stop. And I promise you, you want to be in that first group. Look, the gym is supposed to make you stronger, not break you down. But if you keep making these mistakes, your knees will pay the price. I've operated on thousands of people who could have avoided surgery if they just fixed their form and listened to their body. You don't have to be one of them. If you're dealing with knee pain right now and you want to avoid unnecessary surgery, this is exactly the work that we do. Check the link in the description if you want to see if you're a candidate to work with us. Train smart, protect your knees, and give your body the time it needs to adapt. And if this video helped, hit the subscribe button and drop a comment. Tell me which mistake you've been making and which one you're fixing first. I'm Dr. Ethan Kellum. Take care of those knees. They're the only ones you got.